Hello guys and welcome to our Game Week 9 preview. Let's start with lessons learned from Game Week 8. Villa attack continues to fire. Aston Villa currently sits 6th on the table after a 3-0 thrashing of a dismantled Arsenal side. And while this meant returns for defensive assets, it was the attackers who stood out. Securing maximum bonus was budget forward Ollie Watkins, who netted the brace to take his tally to 6 for the season. Villa are consistently near the top of the chances created statistic, with 14 chances created against Arsenal, only falling behind Chelsea's 15 against Sheffield. Ross Barkley has been thriving in this regard, with the most chances created, 6 for the side. Villa have a favourable run of fixtures ahead, with Brighton at home next week, before West Ham away and Newcastle home. Leicester are the new penalty merchants. Leicester recorded a crucial 1-0 victory over Wolves to go top of the Premier League table after 8 games. This was thanks to a Jamie Vardy penalty, which followed up by a second penalty in the same game, which he failed to convert. This went down as Leicester's 8th penalty in 8 games, which massively increases the value of Vardy, as his penalty miss was highly out of character. Leicester have a tough test against Liverpool away next week, before their fixtures become a lot more appealing after. Bruno loves an away game. It was the Bruno Fernandes show against Everton, as Manchester United recorded a 3-1 victory. 2 goals and an assist earned the Portuguese midfielder 17 FPL points and brought to light an impressive statistic. Bruno has never blanked away from home in the Premier League, scoring 10 goals and getting 5 assists in 10 games. No player has scored more away goals than Bruno since his arrival in the Premier League. Fernandes was dominant in attack against Everton, with no player recording more shots or shots on target. He will look to keep his hot form going against West Brom next week. Chelsea with the most dangerous attack in the league. Chelsea were dominant in attack against Sheffield United, topping the league this week for both total shots 20 and shots on target 9. Additionally, no side created more chances than their 15 this week. At the heart of everything was new signing Hakim Ziyech, who picked up 2 assists and maximum bonus for 11 points. Timo Werner also netted his 4th goal in 4 games, finally finding his groove in the league, rewarding his FPL managers who stayed loyal to him. Chelsea face Newcastle away next week. Now let's move on to Game Week 9 Fixtures Analysis. Best fixtures: Aston Villa. Villa are looking at nice run of fixtures. The appeal of Villa players as budget-friendly FPL picks is lifted further by a promising run of opponents. According to the FDR, 5 of their next 7 matches score only 2. Dean Miss's side have scored 18 goals thus far, only Tottenham 19 and Chelsea 20 have scored more. Since Game Week 2, Villa have recorded 4 clean sheets, that's joint top with Southampton. Their best picks are Grealish, Watkins and Konsa. Everton. All 3 of Everton's upcoming matches score only 2 in the FDR, with encounters against promoted pair Fulham and Leeds United preceding a visit to Burnley. The 2 promoted teams have struggled defensively this season. They are among the 4 sides to have conceded the most goals, with 15 and 17 respectively. While Burnley have conceded 12 goals in 7 games, the Toffees have the firepower up front to exploit them. Their best picks are Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison and Rodriguez. Worst fixtures: Fulham. The Cottagers are currently sitting just 1 place above the relegation zone after a tough start. Bad news for them is that it won't get any easier, as 3 of their upcoming 4 opponents are rated 4 and above on FDR. Fulham are ranked 17th and 18th for goals scored and goals conceded respectively. Leeds United. Leeds have suffered back-to-back defeats in their last 2 games, conceding a whopping 8 goals and only scoring 2. Bielsa's men are now the joint worst defense in the Premier League, having conceded 17 goals thus far. Their next 4 opponents are rated 3 and above on FDR and will be looking to add more to Leeds' woes. Now time for players versus team stats. Jimenez has scored 3 goals and 1 assist in 4 matches versus the Saints. Zaha has 2 goals in the last 3 matches versus Burnley. Vardy has scored 7 goals in 10 matches versus Liverpool, but he has failed to score or assist against them in the last 3 meetings. Mane has blanked only once in 7 matches versus Leicester, scoring 4 goals and assisting 3. De Bruyne has scored 3 goals and assisted 2 in 8 matches versus Spurs, while Sterling scored 4 goals in 10 matches. Both Kane and Son have scored 2 goals and assisted another one in 8 matches versus Man City. Grealish faced Brighton twice last season, scoring in both encounters. To the next segment, players comparison. Kane vs Son. With Spurs' tough run of fixtures and recent drop in offensive stats, many FPL managers with both Kane and Son are thinking about selling one of them. If you own just one of them, keep him. If you own both, then keep Kane. He blanked only once this season in Game Week 1 vs Everton. De Bruyne vs Sterling. Just like the whole City team, Sterling is out of form or not at his best. With a favorable run of fixtures coming after the Spurs clash, many FPL managers are scouting against series players. With Burnley and Fulham home after that, you won't like playing these 2 game weeks without any city assets. The stats suggest that De Bruyne is the best option. He even has a higher XG than Sterling, as he is Man City's penalty taker. Bruno vs Rashford. 2 goals and 1 assist versus Everton were enough to make Bruno the second most transferred in player. He is one of the best captaincy options for Game Week 9. Rashford is a cheaper alternative, but Bruno is worth the extra money. Werner vs Ziyech. Chelsea are back to their best attacking form, scoring 7 goals in the last 3 game weeks, second only to Saints' 8 goals. So buying one of their offensive assets is an easy decision. Both Werner and Ziyech have the potential to score big in any game week. If you need a mid, get Ziyech. If you need a striker, get Werner. If you can get both, get Werner, as he is Chelsea's penalty taker now. Kevin De Bruyne vs Bruno vs Ziyech. Ziyech and Bruno are the 2 most transferred in players ahead of Game Week 9, as FPL managers are selling Son, Salah and Rodriguez for different reasons. De Bruyne has Spurs next, so it's wise to wait another week. Bruno has West Brom home, followed by 2 easy away matches, a very good captain pick during that period. Ziyech is only 8.2 mil, buy him now before rising in price again and again. Moving on to team form stats. Stat 1. Chelsea last 7 away matches. You wouldn't want to play Game Week 9 without a Chelsea attacker. Chelsea are in red hot form ever since Hakim Ziyech got his first Premier League start in Game Week 7. During the 2 game weeks he started, no other team has scored more, conceded fewer goals or created more chances than Chelsea. No wonder to see the influential Moroccan with the most chances created in the league over the past 2 game weeks. This may bode well for Timo Werner as well, who is now averaging a big chance every 59 minutes with Ziyech in the pitch, compared to a chance every 260 minutes without the former Ajax man. A trip to St. James Park for Saturday early kickoff may witness more of the same, as we believe both Werner and Ziyech are good candidates for the armband this game week, not to mention the solidity of the Blues defense recently after the arrival of Edouard Mendy, Thiago Silva and Ben Chilwell, just before the transfer window deadline, with Chilwell specifically offering returns at both ends of the field. Stat 2. Man United last 5 home matches versus West Brom and Man United 4 home matches this season. Despite having had a terrific form away from home so far this season, Man United suffer when they play at Old Trafford, 3 losses and 1 defeat in last 4, as they are still without a win at home since the start of the campaign, scoring twice and conceding 10 goals over the same period. West Brom will be paying a visit to Old Trafford this week in what could be an appealing match on paper, though the Baggies have been very solid at their last 5 visits to Old Trafford, 3 wins, 1 loss and 1 draw, so we believe this game would be much trickier than previously thought, and my advice to you is not to over-rely on Man United assets. Stat 3. Sheffield United last 5 home matches. Sheffield United disastrous form since the restart continues, as they failed to register a win across the last 5 home games, having already failed to score in 4 of the last 5 on home soil. Sheffield are in bottom 3 for chances created and shots on target since the start of the season. Meanwhile, upcoming opponents West Ham have kept 2 clean sheets in the last 3 away matches versus non-top 6 teams. The attacking-minded Cresswell, who registered 2 shots and created 4 chances along with a clean sheet in the last game before the break, alongside Koufal, are both good picks in West Ham defense ahead of fixture swings for the Hammers from now on until Christmas. Stat 4. Leicester City last 4 away matches this season. Everything surrounding Liverpool's fantasy potential needs to be reassessed by FPL managers, with the news of a long-term injury to Joe Gomez, along with a muscle injury for Trent Alexander-Arnold, adding more misery to the previous season-ending injury to Virgil van Dijk. It is worth mentioning that Liverpool are already suffering at the back since Project Restart, even when all their premier defenders are on the field, having failed to register a single clean sheet across their last 6 at home. Up next for the Reds is a visit from current league leaders Leicester City, where the Foxes have scored an impressive 13 goals across their last 4 road trips and scoring 3 or more goals in 3 matches across the same period. Up against an injury-hit Liverpool defense, I'd fancy the chances of Vardy to score more than 1 goal once again. Stat 5. Burnley 3 home matches so far this season. The stat is very clear in this one, as Burnley have failed to score in their 3 home games this season and conceding 5 times across the same period. In fact, the Clars are now miles away from their defensive solidity of last seasons. Moreover, they are ranked in the bottom 3 for shots on target and big chances created in home games so far this season, so I think it is the perfect time for Crystal Palace defenders when they pay a visit to Burnley on Monday. Concerning clean sheets odds, Man United, Chelsea and West Ham have the highest clean sheets odds in Game Week 9. Feel free to pause the video and check out the rest of the odds for all the other teams. Now let's talk about our top 4 players picks. Aaron Cresswell. No other defender has provided more assists than Aaron Cresswell with 3 to his name so far. He also ranks first for assists among West Ham players. In addition to the 3 shots he has attempted, the fullback is delivering over 2 key passes per game so far, for a total of 17 chances created, including 2 big chances created. An interesting element in his game has to be set-piece duties, as he represents one, if not West Ham's go-to choice, for corners and a few free kicks. This has resulted in an increased potential for fantasy football returns. Opponents Sheffield United failed to find the net in 4 out of their last 5 matches at home, so a clean sheet may be on the cards for West Ham. Marcus Rashford. Having scored 2 goals and delivered 3 assists, only Bruno Fernandes has achieved more fantasy football returns than the promising Englishman, who is 1 mil cheaper than the Portuguese. His attacking records reflect a high involvement for him up front, as he is averaging over 2 shots per game, for a total of 17 and 8 being on target. He has also created 13 chances. Something the above numbers may reflect is the improvement of Marcus Rashford's playmaking abilities, shown through creating more chances than usual in previous seasons. Opponents West Bromwich have conceded 10 goals on their travels until this stage, with no other team leaking in more goals away from home. Jack Grealish. Having provided 6 assists as of now, that is at least 2 more than any other midfielder, and only 4 midfielders have outscored his tally of 4 goals. His underlying numbers are one of the best in the league in terms of attacking activity, with a whopping 22 shots, including 9 on target, as well as producing 19 chances created, with 6 of these turning into big chances created. This season, his appeal has highly increased due to an involvement in his penalty area actions compared to last season. The appeal is also boosted by the set-piece duties he is charged to take. The upcoming fixtures of Aston Villa are highly attractive for fantasy football managers in general, and owners of Jack Grealish in particular, with 3 of the next 5 games boosted by a home advantage and coming against Brighton, Newcastle and Burnley respectively. Timo Werner. After a difficult start to the Premier League routine with Chelsea, Timo Werner has rewarded his faithful owners with 4 goals and an assist in the last 4 game weeks he featured in. During these games, he fired in 9 shots, including 5 on target, as well as providing 3 key passes, highlighting a respectable efficiency in attacking numbers. 2 additional aspects that have been added to his all-round displays in these matches are the return of Hakim Ziyech, a cheaper alternative if you cannot afford the striker, to offer more animation within Chelsea's attacking setup, and more importantly, the German is now Chelsea's designed penalty taker instead of Jorginho. At home, opponents Newcastle United have let in 9 goals in 4 games, for an average of over 2 goals conceded every home game. Now let's conclude this preview with our captaincy picks. The obvious captain picks for this game week are Werner vs Newcastle. No team has created more big chances than Chelsea in the last 2 game weeks. With Ziyech formed, we expected Werner to benefit most from these chances. Calvert-Lewin vs Fulham. With James and Richarlison back to the team, it's the perfect occasion for Calvert to score big again. Vardy vs Liverpool. Vardy likes facing top 6 teams, and he will like it more when he faces a Liverpool defense unable to keep a clean sheet in the last 6 game weeks and without most of their stars. If you want to gamble with your armband, Mane is also a good option, as he tends to score big whenever Salah is out. Bruno can return a consecutive double-digit score when Man United hosts West Brom, but United home remains a concern. This is it for our Game Week 9 preview. Thank you guys for watching. Visit our Facebook, Twitter and website for daily tips and updates. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Good luck in Game Week 9 and peace!